talking about success, but I don't want it to come off in a constructed way. I don't want it to sound like you're listening to a show, to a television program, and everything is scripted, everything has been predetermined before the acts were actually put into place. Everything is scripted, all of the laughs, all of the claps, all of it constructed to make the viewer believe that the people that are watching are having, the people that are partaking are having a good time. And a lot of the times this works. This type of programming works. However, I'm not here to speak in that sense. I'm here to speak my free thoughts and my free mind and my free concepts that may or may not be true to you. However, the fact that I am speaking them out into existence means that they are deemed worthy of some thought and some introspection and some perspective, dissective, constructive, epigenetic. Because when you look at success, man, it's something that you just study all the time. And all the time, you find yourself going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole to understand how these people accumulated the things that they accumulated. However, you do not have to look that far, because God has bestowed the principles of success and ingrained them into this 3D reality. They are sewn through the threads of time, and all you have to do is look at nature. Once you begin looking at nature, you will discover the keys to success, because the keys to success that the most successful man has are the keys to success that a colony of bees have, the keys to success that a pride of lions have, the key to success that a solitary tiger has. And all of it is accumulated in the same way. And it is all down to the mental of that individual or the mental of that collective, depending on where your energy is going. So when you see war, you begin to understand how some of these people won the battles because they discovered tactics by looking at nature. A few days ago, I was watching a video of a colony of bees, and I was seeing the process of how a queen is taken out of her reign and how the colony turns against her. At the same time, I saw how a colony takes over another colony, and it became clear to me that these are the same tactics that we use as human beings. There's no difference at all. Therefore, once you begin to study nature, you begin to discover the truth. Because everything else that we believe, or even to a certain extent think, may be false. It may be just our perceptions trying to understand it all. However, you must know that there is nothing to understand. All there is to live. And whether you choose to stay within your house, curled up like a ball, or you choose to partake on a thrilling, dangerous adventure that may cost you your life, know that life will always come knocking at the door. Because those that stay curled up, thinking that we can shout ourselves and hide ourselves and nothing will ever get us, know that there are predators out there looking for you exactly people that are doing what you are doing. That's what they are looking for. They are looking for people who are curled up. They're looking for those who are weak, those who are not going to fight back, those who are easy pickings. Just like the snake burrows through the ground looking for eggs, because the eggs cannot do anything. It's a free meal for the snake. At the same time, those who choose to go out and hunt their meals run the same risk that you run. However, the difference is now in the mentality that shows success throughout time is risk to reward. You have to risk it for a big biscuit. Not a biscuit. You have to risk it for a big biscuit. Because if you risk it for a big biscuit, you acquire enough sustenance to take you for a longer period of time without you having to put yourself in dangerous situations. And it's as simple as that. That's why the solitary tiger survives. Because the solitary tiger will go out and hunt the largest prey that it can find, the most dangerous prey that it can find. And that's why throughout time, it's grown bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where it became the apex predator. Not because it's a tiger, no, but because it chose to hunt the biggest, most challenging of prey. The same as humans, because you could say we hunted down the biggest of predators and made them prey. And therefore, the principles of success lie within each individual. How they are activated, I do not know. That is up to God to decide. Because I cannot say that this is what determines this. If you put this in this environment, if you put this in this, if you put something in this environment, they always turn out different to some degree or extent. And that is just the way that the universe works. Almost nothing is the same. Almost everything is different to some degree, even the things that you think are the same. Just like how in a factory they try to stick to standards, and I'm sure for the most part they believe that each and every single product that they produce is the same. However, if you were to look down into the details, go to the atoms, you'll see that there may be a slight degree of difference between each and every single product that they produce. And that actually brings a very interesting thought. Because now you must understand that the energy that the producer puts into that product may differ the outcome of that product to the user. So when iPhone goes and they produce iPhones on this day, and it was a positive day in the office, there is a possibility that that positivity somehow got into the iPhone. And the people who go out and buy those iPhones that were produced at that time, when everything was good, everything was positive, they get better use out of their phones because the energy is transferred into them. And this is something that I could say I know to be true because I can prove it. The way that I can prove it is on a bad day, when the iPhone factory is not running well and they're having a lot of problems. What happens? They produce defective phones. They produce phones with problems. And those phones are now put out into the population and people begin reporting problems. And once they start reporting problems, those batch of phones are being called back in. And it usually happens in batches. However, it can be one individual phone, but it usually happens in batches because it was probably one bad day, one bad week, one bad month, one bad year. And that year, they produced the substandard phone. However, now, what you must put into perspective is to go down to the nooks and the crannies of the iPhone. Go down to the atoms, and you discover that the same way that all of that energy can produce the outcome of a good quality phone or a substandard phone, that same energy lies within each and every single atom of that phone. And that may be the difference between winning and losing. Whether or not that's the difference, you must know that whether you have negative or positive energy, your risk to reward must always make sense. That is the mentality that is going to save your life and garner you success. The risk to reward of whatever you do in your life, because you only have one, must make sense. And not make sense in the conventional means of, I should risk a little to get a little, or I should risk a little to get kind of a lot, or I should risk a lot to get a lot. No, you should risk a little to get an insane amount of return. That is the key of life. Just as the tiger, wherever it developed from, whatever cell it started as, the fact that it chose to go for the most challenging, biggest prize, which is a water buffalo, that most predators do not dare to go for. The little wolf will not go for that. The little fox will not go for that. Even though it could get it. It could get it in reality. However, in its mentality, it can't. It cannot get it. That prey is too big. And therefore, its evolution is stunted at a certain phase. And the tiger just keeps going on, getting bigger and bigger and stronger and more adapted to taking down bigger prey. And all of a sudden, that is the default. Tigers no more hunt small prey. They only hunt the biggest of the big. And because of mentality. Mentality, not because it's a tiger, not because it's a fox. If a fox wants to become a tiger, it's going to have to start doing it now. So that maybe in generations to come, after adaptation and evolution, it ends up as big as a tiger. But when you start to look at things in that way, in the way of nature, that's what I like to call it, the way of Wudan, the way of nature. When you look at things in that way, you discover how you can take yourself from being a little fox to becoming a big bad tiger and the apex predator on the plain, on the arena, and on the battlefield called life.